Gold is everywhere. You have seen it, from wedding rings, chains, to skin creams, and even gold-plated food. But behind that luxurious metallic sheen is a real truth that makes me shiver. 20 years ago, a kilo of gold was only about $11. Today, it is more than $63. The rate of increase is so fast that anyone has to wonder, what is going on? Why is the price of gold unprecedented? And why does the whole world tremble every time the price of gold peaks? The answer made me grab it. American economic policies, from interest rates, debt work in the process of money, are inadvertently creating a global gold rush. But what is more frightening? That very fever is sending many African countries into a spiral of endless waterfalls, deforestation, pollution, and endless poverty. Gold is bright, but its dark side is getting darker. Humans have used gold for thousands of years, but what surprised me most was how gold is linked to the history of great civilizations. In 700 BC, the Lydians were the first to turn gold into currency, opening a standard of value that lasted for millennia. From Egypt, Rome to China, gold became a symbol of power and wealth. In the US, the 1849 gold rush brought tens of thousands of people to San Francisco, changing the economic and social map of the country. By 1900, the US officially adopted the gold standard, fixing the price of gold to the dollar as a way to maintain faith in the monetary system. Until 1971. Even though the US abandoned the gold standard, gold was still considered a real asset, a place to transfer sustainable value that the entire religious world. Gold has always been seen as a safe haven asset when the market is down, and history has shown that it has never been wrong. In normal times, gold only increases slightly each year, but when a crisis occurs, the price of gold almost jumps in response to the economy defensive reflex. After the 2008 financial crisis, gold immediately increased by 13% in 2009, then 27% in 2010 and 33% in 2011. But when the economy recovered, gold corrected sharply, falling by 45% from 2011 to 2015. In 2020, the world witnessed another COVID-19 outbreak, which saw gold break through the $2,000 an ounce light for the first time in history. The peak was on April 2, 2025, when President Donald Trump announced a new tariff plan, creating a global market shift. Shares of big names like Apple, Tesla, Amazon have all plummeted, and gold has once again become the only safe haven that the nation trusts among central banks. Despite the market showing signs of recovery, Goldman Sachs still forecasts that gold prices could reach $3,700 an ounce by the end of 2025. This shows that economic worries, deflation, and geopolitical tensions are still weighing on global sentiment. In this context, dumping trash and raining gold is not just a trend, but an instinctive reaction to protect assets from dangerous waves. In the US, the trend of storing gold is becoming an unprecedented phenomenon, and you will see it when you look at the scene of people bombing Lish gold at Costco. Each batch of gold given away on the shelf only lasts for a few hours before being completely sold out. Since 2023, Lish Gold has even formed its own collecting community, where buyers spend thousands of dollars every year just to accumulate small but valuable gold bars. Not only buying, the number of people selling old gold at gold shops has also increased by more than 20%. Many Americans bring gold from their homes to sell. Some find forgotten jewelry in the closet and suddenly receive thousands of dollars thanks to the unprecedented high price of gold. This shows a reality. When instability increases, gold becomes the fastest, safest, and most easily convertible account liquidity channel to cash. The impact of the gold rush does not stop there. The gold recycling industry from electronic waste is also thriving. A recycling facility in the US can recover between 1 and 2 kilograms of gold a day, extracting value from seemingly useless devices, from computer circuit boards, old phones, to industrial equipment. All become valuable sources of gold during a period of soaring demand. The price of each gold bar has also increased sharply. From $85,000 in 2024, it will now be worth $113,000 in 2025. This gap reflects a change in market psychology. People no longer completely trust paper money, but turn to holding real assets, and as demand in the US increases, it puts great pressure on gold-producing countries. Mines must increase capacity. more forests are exploited, and new land is constantly dug up. Behind the gold boom is a wide range of activities. From usage habits to the environment and the global economy, Liberia is one of the poorest countries in West Africa. But beneath its rainforests lies some 3 million ounces of gold, a treasure trove that could change the fate of an entire economy. But the interesting thing is that the treasure never belonged to the Liberian people. After the US financial crisis in 2008, when global markets were in turmoil and gold prices began to climb, Liberia became a new hotspot for international mining corporations. In just 1 year, the country gold production doubled, sparking a wave of explosive mining. Companies from Rakai, Britain, and Canada quickly took over the rich fields, creating fierce competition with local miners. While corporations owned modern industrial machinery, brand new gold chains, and large investment capital, small miners in Liberia had to dig gold by hand. They used shovels, plastic buckets, and manually sift under the sun, spending days to reach the gold layer. A miner only gets from 1,5 to 3 grams of gold per day, equivalent to about $159. An income account that is not enough to improve their lives. The rest makes them exhausted from hard labor. Under the pressure of competition and hunger, some miners illegally use mercury to separate gold. Mercury goes down the stream, enters the soil, poisons the water, destroys the ecosystem, and threatens the health of the whole community. Many forests are dug up, farmland disappears, fish and drinking water are seriously contaminated with fat. The most heartbreaking thing is that the Liberian people suffer almost the entire loss of the environment, but receive very little value from the resources that belong to them. Meanwhile, the world gold price continues to rise, and gently, mainly on foreign interests. This is the dark side of the modern gold rush, where the world wealth was built on the poverty, pain, and sacrifice of anonymous workers in the jungles of West Africa. In 2024, in Boostown, the Chinese company Hongu Mining set foot in Liberia with a 5-year mining contract. On paper, the project was advertised as an economic development opportunity for the locality, but just a few months later, the civilian drones wrote the opposite. A whole forest of locusts. The soil was torn up into deep puddles, and the flooded river changed course, changed color, became turbid with mud and chemicals. Liberia Environmental Agency quickly determined that Hongu Mining was seriously violating environmental protection standards. Local people lost their agricultural land, which had been their livelihood for generations, and also lost their source of clean water for washing, growing potash, and fishing. The whole community was in turmoil. Their wildlife and health were threatened. When the video of the accusation spread on social media, global public opinion was in an internal snowstorm. International pressure forced the Liberian government to act. The company was fined $49. All equipment was confiscated, and the mine was closed. But even if it were locked, the consequences could not be locked. The forests destroyed would take years, if not forever, to recover. The soil was poisoned and could not be farmed. The polluted rivers could not be restored. That was the real price of gold, a price Liberians paid while the profits went elsewhere. Liberians describe their land as turned upside down, barren and uncultivable after massive gold mining. For them, this is not just an environmental issue, but a form of subsidized white exploitation, where local communities hardly receive any benefits from the resources that should be theirs. Not only Liberia, many African countries are also suffering the same tragedy. Ghana is a typical example. A recent environmental report shows that 60% of Ghana freshwater sources have been contaminated by gold mining chemicals. Mass fish deaths, degraded soil, and people's lives have been brought to a standstill. Many protests have broken out across mining areas as people protest illegal mining activities and demand protection of their living environment. The Liberian government claims it is working to control gold mining, especially after the environmental scandal that has caused national and international outrage. However, many people are skeptical about the effectiveness of these measures. They say the declarations are only on paper, while mining continues to take place in the field. The reality is that the challenge is huge. the densely forested terrain, many of which are deep in remote areas, makes monitoring almost impossible. To get to an illegal mine, an environmental agency employee can spend weeks trekking through the jungle, during which time hectares of earth are dug up and tons of rock and soil are dumped into rivers. The Liberian government has announced plans to expand its monitoring room to all 15 districts across the country. This is an important step, but it is still the beginning of a long road. These efforts face shortages of manpower, lack of funding, and pressure from interest groups. The road to complete control of gold mining in Liberia is still very far, while the environment and people's lives are being refined every day. The world's remaining reserves of natural gold are estimated to be just 50,000 tons deep in the earth crust. That may sound like a lot, but at the current rate of extraction, humanity could completely deplete its natural gold reserves by around 2050. As reserves become increasingly scarce, mining costs rise, and investment demand continues to grow, gold prices are almost certain to continue climbing in the coming decades. This makes gold not just a safe haven asset, but also a disappearing resource. If gold is indeed running out, then the countries that possess it are at risk of losing both their resources and their future. We need to protect them from the cycle of destructive exploitation. Before the last forests are wiped out and water sources are destroyed forever, and we need to save gold itself, a metal that has accompanied humanity for thousands of years. If we do not change the way we mine and manage it, we will see both the depletion of its resources and the collapse of the communities that depend on it. This is not just a call, but a global warning. Why is it so expensive? If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on what topic you would like me to cover in the next video. See you next time.